はい、どうもこんにちは、いるです。今回はTHE FIRST TREE というゲームやっていきたいと思います。なんか設定でね、字幕って書いてあったんで、多分英語がメインになってるのかな。でも字幕がつくんで、多分説明とかはさっぱりわかんないとかいうことにはならないと思います。ということで、やっていきましょう。キツネの足だ。
Hi, my name is David Whaley, and I'm the creator of the first tree. I also voice a character named Joseph. So I just wanted to introduce you to this commentary mode, tell you that you can find interesting things about how I made this game by touching the speech bubbles you see in the world. So I hope you enjoy it.
なるほどね。完全に理解した。してませんけど。まあ。字幕が出るはず。大丈夫。で、キツネが立ち上がった。起きてるの起き上がった音が聞こえたから。WASD で動かすと、
I'm awake. Sorry,
で、
I just
スペ
can't
ースバー
sleep.
でジャンプ。
Are you thinking about him?
動けますね。
Yeah, a bit. Usually get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know.
キツネ。
It seems weird.
かわ
I
いいね。
had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried.
二段ジャンプ。
Those eyes. I can't get those
違うね。
eyes out of my
こ
head.
うか。あ、二
I
段
was
ジャン
running
プで
in
き
the
る。
windy snow,
すごいね、
looking
これ。
for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
すごいなんか話が進んでいるのが。お、何これ。
I'll try not to spoil too much since a lot of this game ties into the very last
これで
act,
また
which is the
字幕が
epilogue,
進む
I
のか
call
な。
it. But you'll notice there's lots of items around, and that's kind of what the first tree is about, is like exploring this land and trying to figure out why they're there, what they were used for, and it's kind of explained that this is a dream for Joseph, but it's something different, and it's not supposed to be
字
like
幕
your
がある
average
んで、
dream. It's supposed to be
あ
something
れ
a
です
little
ね。
deeper.
英語わかんなくても
pay attention to all
話
the
わかる
items
か
that are
ら
around and try to figure
楽
out
しめそうです
how they
ね。
tie into the story.
多分この光ってるところに進んでいけば話は進んでいくと思うんですよね。でもキツネは二段ジャンプできる。なんかちょっと衝撃的だな。お、なんだあれは。あ、また。何。
So it's usually at this point where
キツネ。
people say something like, "This is not the kind of game I was expecting." And that happened a lot at PAX
楽しんでる。
West when I showed it. We'd have little kids play it, but then they see a dead fox cub, or a kit is technically the word, but cub sounds, I don't know, it sounds better. Like Wes Anderson uses it in Fantastic Mr. Fox, so I thought cub would be
子
alright.
供が
But
死んじゃ
anyway,
ったってことかな。
having this game, I wanted it to be more serious. This game is based on dealing with the death of my father, which is the hardest thing that's ever happened to me and my family.
父親を
But
探
I
せって
don't
こと
like.
だ
I don't
ね。
want to talk about it here, and I didn't want to talk about it with anybody really. To this day, still, it's very personal, and that's why I made this game.
め
That's
っちゃマッ
exactly
プ
the
広
reason.
い。
Because I wanted to get those feelings out and like communicate with people without like talking about it. And so that's what the first tree is. It's me dealing with my feelings, and it was a personal project.
じゃあ
And
こ
it was
こから
just
は
me.
普通に活
Actually,
動
like,
す
I'm really
る
glad I made it.
感じですね。
But
今
it
まで
wasn't
の
easy
が
to make,
多分
I
チュートリアル
guess is
だ。
what I'm saying.
お、何こ
So,
れ。
not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
このピカピカ光ってるの取ってきゃいいの
She
かな。
couldn't stay though. She had to find her other two children.
他の2匹の子供たちも探さなきゃならなかったから、彼女は
She
その道へ
followed
進んでいっ
it
た。
towards something
なる
ancient,
ほど。
something with answers. High and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own.
つまりキツネ
The
の
land
家
was
族を
trying
探
to
せっ
tell
てこ
my
とだな。
story too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
いや、どこ行けばいいんだ俺。ちょっと話もあるからこれも取ってこうね。
The bunnies were added because
英
my
語
wife
わかんないけど
also voices Rachel in the game.
まあ
Who's
英語
also
わかる
at
人
the
がいる
time
から
to
ね。
make the game.
なるべく取っていきましょう。
As we were playing, she just said it. The world felt kind of empty and not alive enough. So I knew we needed to add some kind of life, and so the bunnies was like the first idea that came to mind. And like most of the game, I used like publicly available assets to speed up production because I was working full time along with making this game, and we just had our first baby, a little girl named Evelyn. So I was messing with this asset called Herd Sim, and at one point, like the generation script that creates variations
やっ
of
ぱ
the
向こうを
sizes
取
of
って
the
から行こ
bunny.
うか。
One time I got out of control and it made like this monster bunny that towered over everybody. And I shared that GIF on Imager and Reddit, and that was a huge hit. It helped definitely gain an audience for this game. But it's hard because this game is like so serious. It's about life and death, not giant bunnies. But I knew I needed something like a shout out to that because it was pretty fun. So if you're able to catch all the bunnies on this map, I think there's around 13, then you'll get a special surprise. So good luck.
なんか感動必須のお話らしいんですけどね。あまりにもこう字幕がないとわかんねえな。そしてなんだここは。なにこれ。
As a kid, did you ever do show and
子
tell
供
in
の頃
your
クラスの
class?
みんなで何か持ち寄って
I think I did
はえ
once when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys
子
immediately
供の
made fun
頃
of it.
恥ずかしいっ
They
て思い
asked
があっ
which
たのかな。
trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friend had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did.
わかる、そういうね小さなことがやっぱね気になったりするんだよね。ここじゃあまたお話が聞けるか
Do
な。
you remember what my dad did for a living?
おもちゃ
Wasn't
みたい
he
なの
like a lumberjack?
なんか出てきたね。
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
やっぱりそれだけなんか父親っていうものに惹かれたんですかね。結構遠いな。やっぱそういう家族の絆みたいなものがね、なんか多分大事だと分からされるゲームなんでしょうけど、どういう展開なんですかね。まずはこっちか。光ってますね。また掘るのかな。
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore.
お父さんは軍人だったのかな。
He was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
意外と父親の仕事って気になら
A
ない
lot
人
of
も多い
people
で
have
すから
gotten
ね。
confused why Joseph's father is called a sourdough. And it's not stated outright at the beginning of the game, but Joseph and his dad, they grew up in Alaska. And I don't have a real connection to Alaska except through friends who lived there, and it was also the place that me and my dad were gonna go right before he passed away. But I love the idea of Alaska being like this beautiful solitary place.
おー、滑
But
る滑
anyway,
る。
what that has to do with sourdough is it's an Alaskan slang term about like someone who lives in the backwoods, like a redneck in Alaska. So I thought that was just to put some authenticity into the game. I
なん
added
か
that
アラ
word.
スカ州での話みたいですね。
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway?
すごい
Why
家族
bother
の
when I'm happy
絵か
by
な。
myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
なんだこれ。
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
Thought it was important to say that yes, I actually did draw this with crayons. And it was just funny to me one day that I was like, I'm working on my game, and I pulled out my little 1-year-old's like crayon set to draw this item for this game. I just
ここは二段
realized
ジ
just
ャン
now
プでもいけ
that
ない
I
ね。
probably threw away the original. I probably should have kept it and given it away to somebody, but oh well.
登れない場所なのかな。
One of the main reasons people play small indie games is because they are so personal and intimate. So I tried to put myself into this game as much as possible. So almost all the vignettes or little stories you hear in this game, they come from my childhood, where I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Central Virginia in the United States. So yeah, that's probably why I love games like this so much, where you explore this open, wide environment and just find interesting things, because that's exactly what I did as a kid.
さあ光ってる塔。あ、待って待って、取れない。塔。あー、落ちちゃったあー、落ちちゃった。ちょっと待って待って待って。これ多分順路じゃないですよね。よし、今度こそ。いや、難しくないこれ。あははは、じゃあカットします。やっと取れました。どこ行けばいいんだろうな。手がかりを見つけないとお話も進まない。お、なんか向こう光ってなんだ。光ってるね。車があるのかな。よっと。そしてなんか向こう側も光ってるように見えるな。あ、向こう光ってんね。こっちも光ってるからこっちから行くか。意外とアクションが多くてちょっと難しい感じ。と、あ、待って待って、二段ジャンプが思ったより難しいんだよな。 よし。このも OK。 あー、向こう光ってんな。行くか。やっぱりたまにはね、こういうのんびりしたゲームをやるのもいいですね。なんかいつも何かに追われてるゲームとかばっかりだったからね。よし。じゃあ向こう側行くか。じゃあちょっと一旦この辺回ってみますんでカットします。結構マップが広くてね。
I feel like one of the best ways to make an exploration game feel worth it or to reward the player is to have as many secrets as possible. Like some of my favorite games like Dear Esther and Gone Home and Firewatch. I love those story-driven games. And they're kind of like these mystery boxes where if you put in a lot of effort, if you look closely, the world reveals itself to you better. So there are like secrets in the first tree. See if you can find one of these hidden items by digging around in these unmarked spots around this area.
探索が大変なんですよね。まあキツネが延々と走ってるシーンをお見せすることになるんですけどなんかミステリーボックスを要は開けろってことなんですかね。なんか穴掘って見つけてくださいねみたいなところさっきもあったんで、多分そういうのを開けて謎を解いていけってことですかね。上光ってるけどどうやって行くんだろう。左かな。右からも行けそうだけど。よしよし、登れたぞ。さあこの星みたいなやつを回収して、次はどこだろう。こっちっぽいですね。お、ローディングした。あ、草原に出ました。すごい。じゃあ次回はここから始めたいと思います。それではまた。